What is going on YouTube? It is Trev. It is very late for me, so I'm going to jump right into this. No stories out front or anything, right? I want to talk to you about meme coins and specifically Pepe and Elmo. And I know immediately a lot of you are thinking, what are you talking about, Trev? These are two really different projects. Pepe's, looking at a 525 million market cap, and Elmo's looking at like 1.3 million or something like that, right? How can you talk about the two of these in the same video? Well, I'm going to try to convey to you my reasons why I think you would be wise to own both of these projects, both of these tokens. Now, this isn't you should own this one and not that one, or you should own that one and not this one, because this isn't a competition. I truly believe that people should be diversified. This whole thing about, if I'm in this camp and I own this token and I'm in this community, I have to hate all the other communities. I think that's kind of ridiculous. I always go on the premise, and I could be wrong about certain individuals, but I always go on the premise that people are invested in these tokens or stocks or whatever it is to make money, right? I think that is the first and foremost and biggest reason, right? That you want to put your money into something, you hope that it will grow it and you'll get more money back, right? So I can tell you that I think both of these projects have the same potential to make you money. And again, you might think I'm absolutely crazy because we have such a humongous juggernaut in Pepe, and Elmo, doesn't have a lot of holders, isn't really all that well known other than myself and Matthew Perry every once in a while, maybe a couple other guys. You don't hear a lot about it, right? But I'm going to try to make that case to you. And what I want to talk about real quick to kind of set the stage is influencers, right? We all, we watch TV, listen to the radio, we're on the internet, and we see constantly products and services being advertised with a recognizable person in the commercial, right? In the advertisement. Whether it's a movie star or a sports figure or a musical artist, whatever it is, there is something about us, right, human nature kind of stuff, that when we see these people that we like and that we trust and that we kind of feel like we know, even though we don't really know them, and they're talking about a certain product or a certain service, we trust it, right? Because, that's the person that was in this movie, or that's the person that scored a touchdown or whatever, right? It's totally illogical. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever that that product should be good because that particular person is a spokesman for it, right? But that's how our brains work. And deep down we know that those people probably don't even use those products, probably don't even use those services. They're getting paid to advertise to you or to influence you into believing that the product or the service is, good, is worth you spending your money on, right? But think about that. They're paid to influence you. Do we ever stop and think when we talk about influencers on YouTube or on Twitter or whatever, do we ever stop and think about the root of that? What that means is that there's something that you would normally not do of your own volition, but someone who maybe has a lot of followers or is popular for whatever reason, they will influence you to do something that you wouldn't normally do on your own, right? It's okay. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. A lot of times, some things are brought to our attention that, by these influencers that we never would have known about. And okay, but we'll look at somebody and say, well, they've got X amount of followers and they're all over Twitter Spaces and they're posting all the time or whatever. They must know what they're talking about, right? Sometimes that's true, sometimes it's not. And obviously, where I'm going with the influencer thing is about Pepe. Okay, let me share this. Let me share my screen with you for a second, and let's talk about this guy Pauly. Well, Pauly is the face. Well, not necessarily the face, the avatar, but the voice of Pepe and of Pond. And Pauly has 152.2 thousand followers. This person is influential. There are a lot of people following him. They're following him because he's charismatic and because he knows his way around the space and he speaks with authority and knows what he's talking about. He's also fun and young and hip, and they play music in their spaces and they do all the things that people who are involved in crypto, which is usually a younger crowd, he does all the things that kind of are relatable, right? And so in a short amount of time, he's really figured out how to gain an awful lot of followers. Now, yes, people always talk about, listen, how many of those followers are real? How many of them are bots? How many of them were bought, right? I don't know, whatever. It doesn't make a difference, right? The thing is, this is what we see, and that is influential. I say this guy has 152.2 thousand people following him. I'm assuming he knows what he's talking about. I better follow him too, and I do follow him, right? But he has kind of the first of the last post that he had or whatever. Here is talking about how he's not an influencer. It's impossible for me to be an influencer because I actually build. So I guess the premise is, if you're building a project or you're a dev or whatever, you can't be an influencer. I don't really think that makes a lot of sense. But I'm not criticizing the guy. I mean, I kind of like the guy, and I like what he's doing. But he points to a bunch of other people and he says CZ Binance isn't an influencer. If CZ isn't an influencer, I don't know who is an influencer. I mean, you just wait for Binance to list you. And if something is listed on Binance, all of a sudden it could potentially skyrocket, or it's probably going to skyrocket because CZ is influential, right? Now let's look, right? We go to CZ. CZ has 8.6 million followers. That's influential. This next guy on the list, I'm sorry, I'm having a problem with my mouse here. This Brian Armstrong, I'm not sure who he is, to be honest with you. He only has 2,740. He has less followers on Twitter than I do. So if you want to say he's not an influencer, okay, I'll go with that, right? Because I'm certainly not one, and I have more followers than that. But everybody else on this list, Andre, 380,000 followers. That's influential. This is a guy with influence. Justin, 3.4 million followers. Cameron, 716,000 followers. Tyler, 1 million followers. These people have all these people following them because they are influential. All right. And again, nothing wrong with it, but let's just call it what it is. Okay. So when we go to Pepe and we look at Pepe, and I'll tell you, I own a little Pepe, right? And when I say little, I mean a little Pepe. Yeah, this mouse is giving me problems. Hold on, I'm trying to go to something here. All right. Yeah, let's go over to Pepe. This is CoinMarketCap. And this is, I believe, from the beginning to the end of Pepe. Is there any more to it? No. All right. So Pepe's been around for what is it? 7 months now? What did I do? Let me shrink this back up. About 7 months now. And it's doing pretty well. It's having a pretty good run. Actually, let me look at it over here. I'm going to look at it on Dex Tools. It's probably a better way to do it. It's having a pretty good run. It launched, and in the month of between April and May, shot up like crazy. The all-time high in May of this year was 5032, around there, right? Obviously, it's come back down. It's had its ups and downs, right? It had a couple runs, but it's come back down. And currently, it's having a pretty good little bounce, okay? Where a lot of things in the market right now are having a pretty good bounce. Bitcoin's going up, Ethereum's going up. Those tend to drag a lot of things with it. But this right here, okay, this was because Pauly was the guy behind this, right? He's been behind some other things. He's got a lot of followers. Everybody knows him. Everybody likes him. He said, hey, we got a new thing. It's called Pepe, right? It's, based on the Pepe the Frog character. It's the new thing. We all need to be in it. And everybody jumped up in it, okay? Pepe right now has 143 plus thousand holders, okay? That's what happened. Well, meme season kind of dwindled or whatever, and it went back down again, but the hype never really stopped for Pepe. It had some little minor skirmishes and issues or whatever, but the thing is, you have influencers, major influencers, big influencers, continuing to push it. Now, what they want to do with Pepe, and what they're thinking, is that, so I saw, and I couldn't find it, but I saw a tweet, I'm pretty sure by Pauly, that said something about the bull market doesn't start until Pepe gets back to 1.5 billion market cap. Currently, it's sitting at about 525 million market cap, right? So that would be approximately a 3x from here, right? Which would bring it back to its all-time high area. And he says that's when the fun will start. That's when the fun really starts, or whatever it was, right? So with 3x from here, just keep all these numbers in mind, right? 3x from here, and that's when he says the bull market starts. Now, does that mean that Pepe kicks off the bull market? Does that mean that once it reaches the all-time high, then we can say that the bull market has started? Or does that mean that the bull market will bring it up to, when it starts, will bring it up that 3x from here? Not sure exactly what that meant, but that's pretty much approximately what it is, right? 143.3 thousand holders. Okay. The most it's ever been is 3x from where it currently is. All right. Again, 5 zeros, 3, 2, or somewhere around there. Okay. Now, I've also seen a lot of tweets because this is part of the hype. This is part of the influence, right? Seen a lot of tweets that say in the bull run, Pepe can do more than that. Pepe is going to beat the market cap of SHIB. Well, if we went up that 3 times from here to the all-time high to the 1.5 million market cap, well, the current market cap of Shiba Inu, assuming it stayed the same, would only be like a 3x, maybe a little less than a 3x from there, right? Because I believe SHIB's market cap is, I forget exactly what it is. Let me make sure that my math is right. Hold on a second. Let's go to SHIB. Okay. So, yeah. All right. Yeah, SHIB's market, yeah, I was right. So, 4.6 billion, right? If we were at 1.5 billion with Pepe, it would be approximately a 3x from there to get up to SHIB's current market cap, right? So, what is that? 3, and then the other 3, so that's 9x from here, even a 10x from here. Absolutely conceivable, because it is a very, very popular meme coin. And SHIB kind of had a similar story. Didn't really have any use case, right? There was really no real team behind it, right? Even, we're not even going to talk about that ecosystem dev team. That had nothing to do with SHIB, right? But the popularity alone, the hype alone, drove it up pretty high at one point. Now it's been coming down consistently ever since then because, in my opinion, because there is nothing else backing it, right? It is just popular. It had a cool story. We gave half of it to Vitalik. Whatever, right? But a lot of people said that I'm sorry to bring it up, but if Shibarium didn't live up to expectations and burn off significant chunks of Shiba Inu, that was it. They were done with Shiba Inu, and Shiba Inu was dead for all intents and purposes. Now, that's a debate, right? A lot of people say there's no way it's dead. It's still popular. It still has a crap load of holders, whatever, right? Market cap, yada, yada, right? Some people say, yeah, but it has no use case. There's nothing you can do with it. So it's never really going to go anywhere. And there might be some validity to that. I mean, how far can it really go just on it being SHIB, right? With nothing else that you can do with it. I don't know. But Pepe, unfortunately for me, is in the same boat. Now, I bought $60 worth of Pepe, right? Which is now worth like $90, close to $100. It's not bad. And if it 3X's from here, then my $60 will be worth $180. And then if they 3X that, now I'll be up close to just under $600 on a $60 investment. You can't complain about that. I'll never complain about that. But there are people who are holding billions of Pepe, and they need to understand if it 9X's or 10X's from here, whatever they spent, let's say that you spent $3,000, right, on Pepe at current prices, you would end up with about 2.3 billion Pepe, right? So you spent $3,000. It 3X's from here, you've got $9,000. Nothing to sneeze at. Then, if it 3X's from there and beats SHIB's market cap, now you've got $27,000 on a $3,000 investment, right? There is money to be made with Pepe, for sure, right? The hype is still there. In the bull market, I've said before, a rising tide, and I got this from other people, right? I didn't originate this. A rising tide lifts all ships. So, Pepe, bull market, hype, poly, who knows where it could go? I mean, if you listen to Poly, this thing can 100x. Well, it's only ever 3x'd from where it is right now. And it would be less than a 10x to get to Shiba Inu's market cap. And it could even go beyond there, right? Let's say it 20x'd. I don't know, right? Can it 50x? 100x though? I don't know. I'm a bit of a realist. I just don't see it because there's no use case. There's no reason other than hype for this thing to be 100xing. I can't see it. I think you should hold it. I think you can make some money on it. I think that you need to take your profits as it goes up in the bull market, right? Take profits along the way. Don't necessarily buy into the hype and hold it all until that 50x, 100x. Keep a moon bag because you never know, right? But let's be realistic about it. What is the reason that it will do that other than the fact that Pauly says it will? I mean, has he ever called that before? Has he ever said some other token would 100x and it 100x'd? I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's a legitimate question. I don't know. Is this guy really that good? I don't know, right? But I do think that Pepe is something that obviously is hot and something that you should own, okay? Now, let's talk about Elmo. And let me, I think I can just switch right to it from here. Okay. Here is Elmo. Elmo has been around for 6 months, maybe a little less than 6 months, around 6 months, right? I think, if I'm doing the math correctly. And if you look at the chart, it's kind of similar to what happened to Pepe, right? It had this really, really big surge. And it got to a high of 3.3 cents, right? It has since come down to 0.005, and it has been in this is the day chart. It has been in this range for a long time. It goes back and forth to 0.004, 0.006. It goes to 0.007, comes back down to 0.005, right? It's been in this, so it has come down 6x from where it was. That means that at one time, just a few months ago, it has 6x'd from where it is right now. Pepe has only ever 3x'd from where it is right now, okay? Pepe has 143.3 thousand holders. Elmo has 3,300 holders, 3,372, I think, to be exact, holders, right? Pepe has a market cap of 525 million. Elmo has a market cap of 1.27 million, right? 1.29. I'm sorry, I'm looking at it there. 1.29 million. Even with really 2% of the amount of holders that Pepe has, this thing has been 6x higher than where it is right now. Pepe has only ever been 3x higher than where it is now. Now, why do I think you should hold this? Well, it doesn't have a poly, right? It doesn't have a big, huge influencer or recognizable face. It doesn't have the kind of hype and Twitter spaces with music playing. It doesn't have all those things. It doesn't have the kind of following or even the kind of community that Pepe has. The community that Elmo has, there is a core, diehard community that you'll find in the Telegram, right? But a handful of people who really, really are zealous, overzealous about this project, right? So why do I think you should hold it? I'll tell you why. A few different reasons. One, and I've mentioned it before. Elmo has a developer that is a full stack developer. This guy can do anything that you think of or suggest. He's either done it already, he's already done it with other projects, huge exchanges that he's worked with and for and all the rest of it, right? Tons of experience. But they don't have to pay for any of the things that are being developed. I shouldn't say any of the things. There is a game, we'll talk about that in a second, and that is outside of the realm of what Elmofo Dev can do on his own. And so there is another crew that is being paid to help develop this game, right? But that's it. Everything else has been developed. There's staking. There are NFTs. There's NFT staking. Elmo, in some countries in Europe, can actually be used to purchase services and goods in certain places, right? The game. There is a game being developed, and we probably won't see this game until maybe early next year. It is a first-person shooter game, and the graphics and the game, the playability, everything are going to be top-notch. Top-notch, because they're not going to sell for any less than that, right? This game is meant, along with everything else that's being developed, and we'll talk about some of the things. I can't really tell you exactly what they are, but I'll allude to them. Along with everything from now on that is being developed, it's being developed with it in mind to bring Pepe and Shib and Elmo and Doge and Floki and whoever. It's meant to bring all of these tokens together instead of separating them and having this rivalry of, if you're involved in this one, you can't be involved in that one. You have to hate all the other ones, right? Elmo's working to change all that, to make it okay to own them all. And it's putting things together like this game that not only will have the characters of these other projects in them, but will actually be beneficial to those communities, whether it's, burning their tokens or rewards in those tokens or whatever it is, right? Now, listen, it's Elmo. So you have to sustain the project, right? So in order to take part in any of that stuff, you are going to have to hold a certain amount of Elmo, right? Let's be legit about it. It's not going to be crazy, I'm sure, but you have to. The project has to sustain itself. Money doesn't just come out of nowhere, right? But everything is working to do that. Okay, so the game is coming. That's going to be awesome. There are 2 other things that are in development right now that are almost done, right? One of them is not that difficult really to put together. The other one was a little more difficult because, as I've said in previous videos, everything that they build, even though another project might have these things, they want to set it apart. They want to make sure that there are things about it, that there are features that you won't find in anybody else's. And not just novelty kind of thing, but there are some novelty kind of things thrown in, some AI and some things that are going to be like, wow, that's really cool. But things that are actually beneficial, that make things easier for you, that solve problems that we've had with these particular utilities with other projects, right? These problems are being solved. And these 2 particular utilities that we will be seeing, I think before the end of the year, maybe even a lot sooner, right? Testing, betas, whatever, right? These other utilities, same thing as far as all of the other coins. There's something in it for everybody. It's bringing it all together, okay? This team is committed. They're engaged with the community. You can talk to them. I talk to them all freaking day long. Everybody else talks to them all day long. Master Elmo has now shown his face and somewhat doxed himself. I mean, I don't know his social security number or his address, but I know what the guy looks like. I don't know what Paulie looks like, right? I don't know what a lot of the leaders of these other tokens look like. I don't know what they sound like. Some of them don't even talk to the community, right? But these guys are showing their face. They're showing their dedication, okay? This is why I think you should hold Elmo. And it's not financial advice. It's just my opinion, right? Because of all these things, Elmo will have a sustainability that a lot of these other meme tokens who are doing very, very well with the hype will not have. They won't have that longevity. You can only be hype on something for so long, right? Think about whoever your favorite artist is right now, music artist, right? They might put out 2 or 3 really cool songs this year, last year, maybe next year they might have 1 song. But I mean, how many of them are just gone after a while, right? All the Madonnas and the Princes and the Michael Jacksons or whatever, they have their time, but as time goes on, they lose some of that popularity, right? And if there's nothing new coming out, being developed, that is good for the times, right? Then there's no reason to actually keep following those people, or in this case, that token, right? Elmo is not going to have that issue because they're continuing to build. They're building toward the future. They're building to bring people together. I think it's a good thing to hold, right? Now, Elmo Fodev, the guy I told you with all the experience, who I trust. You don't have to trust him, but I trust him, right? He's told me before, and I've talked about this before in another video, bull market, right? Particularly, and this was before we even had all these utilities coming, or before they were even thought of, right? Talked about bull run, $1 to $2, easy, is what he said. Easy, right? $3 to $4, likely, right? $5 and up, definitely possible. That was before all of these utilities that are about to be dropped on you, right? So I can't give you a prediction. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't say that everything that was told to me from Elmo Fodev is exactly what's going to happen in the future, because it's in the future, right? But there is a path that you can follow here that says, why will it do that? Why? Why? What? Why? Why would anybody want to buy this? Well, because it is being built, and it's being built to be used and to be easy and to help people, right? So you can say, this is why. You can actually name things. If someone were to ask me, why in next year, 2 years, 3 years, will Pepe still be on top? I can't really answer that question. I don't know that it will be, because unless they start building stuff, and they might be, I don't know, but unless they start building stuff, it could potentially come and go. And if you're lucky, you catch the train and you make a lot of good money, and then you invest that money into things with more sustainability. Elmo is one of those things. It's moving out of the meme, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, memedom or the meme, I don't know, whatever, right? It's moving out of the meme coin title, right, designation, and becoming something more. It's really cheap right now. So if you want to get a bag, it's a great time to get a bag, because I think this thing is going to do miraculous things, right? It hasn't had its run yet, and that's good, because when it goes, it's going to go like crazy. Again, not financial advice, just my opinion, but that's how I feel about it. All right, this video, like all my videos, is much longer than I thought it was going to be. And so I am going to bid you adieu. Let me get back to my thing here. All right, there I am. Check out Elmo. Just check it out. Check out Pepe. If you're not invested in Pepe, you should be, right? You should be invested in Elmo, in my opinion. These two have similarities, and they are just different enough that you're kind of hedging your bet, because you've got the hype one with the influencers and the whatever, and if that's the way it works in this next bull run, if that's going to be good, then that'll soar for you, right? Elmo has the strong team, the utilities, the longevity, the solidity, right? Has all those things, and as that plays out in another direction, that's going to be good for you too, right? So you're hedging your bets. You got all ends covered, as far as I'm concerned. Now, that's how I look at it anyway. All right, I will talk to y'all later. Sorry that this was so long, and I thank you very much for any of you who stuck with me through my rantings and through my logic all the way to the end of this. Please hit the like button for me if you could on the way out, so that YouTube will tell other people that this video was worth watching, and we can get the word out about both Pepe and Elmo. I hope the best for everybody out there. All right, ciao.